Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Modern English Talk, the podcast where you can improve your English by listening, learning, and speaking with simple and useful English. I'm Emma, and I'm very happy to have you with me today. Today, we are going to talk about a very common English question. You may hear this question at school, at work, in a job interview, at a meeting, or when you meet someone for the first time. The question is, tell me about yourself. It sounds like a very simple question, right? But for many English learners, this question can be difficult. You may know many English words, but when someone looks at you and says, tell me about yourself, suddenly you may not know what to say. You may think, what should I talk about? Should I talk about my family? Should I talk about my job? Should I talk about my hobbies? How long should my answer be? Don't worry. In today's episode, I'm going to help you answer this question in a simple, clear, and natural way. You do not need difficult English. You do not need a very long answer. And you do not need to tell your whole life story. You just need to know a few simple things about yourself and learn how to connect them together. For example, you can start with your name. You can talk about where you are from. Then you can talk about what you do. You can talk about your hobbies, your personality, and the things you enjoy. Finally, you can talk a little about your goals and dreams. When you put these ideas together, you can create a natural introduction about yourself. And here is something very important. When you learn English, don't only learn English for exams or books. Learn English that you can actually use in real life. Being able to talk about yourself is one of the first and most important speaking skills you can develop. If you can introduce yourself with confidence, you will feel more comfortable when you meet new people and speak English in different situations. So, if you sometimes feel nervous when someone asks you, tell me about yourself, stay with me. In this episode, we are going to practice everything step by step. I will give you simple sentences, useful expressions, easy examples, and speaking practice. You can listen to me, repeat after me, and then create your own answers. So take a deep breath, relax, and get ready to speak about one person you already know very well. You. Let's begin. Okay, now let's understand the question more clearly. The question is, tell me about yourself. You may hear this question many times when you are learning English, but what does it really mean? When someone says, tell me about yourself, they are usually asking you to give some basic information about who you are. They want to know a little about you. They are not asking you to tell them everything about your life. They are not asking you to explain every important event from your childhood until today. They simply want to know, who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? What are you interested in? And sometimes, what are your goals? So, when someone asks you, tell me about yourself, don't feel nervous. Think of it as a chance to introduce yourself. Imagine that you meet someone for the first time. Maybe you are at a new school. Maybe you start a new job. Maybe you join an English class. Maybe you meet someone at a social event. The person may smile and say, "Hi, nice to meet you. Tell me about yourself." Now, what can you say? You can begin with something very simple. Sure, my name is Emma. I'm from Canada, and I'm an English teacher. I enjoy reading, listening to music, and learning new things. I'm also working on improving my communication skills. Look at this answer. It is not very long. It does not use difficult vocabulary, but it gives the other person useful information. The person now knows your name, where you're from, what you do, and some of the things you enjoy. That is enough for a basic introduction. Now, let's make this even easier. You can think about your answer in 5 simple steps. Step number 1, your name. You can say, my name is Ahmed, or I'm Ahmed. Step number 2, where you're from. You can say, I'm from Afghanistan, or I live in Kabul. Step number 3, what you do. For example, I'm a student, or I work in a small company, or I'm learning English. Step number 4, your interests. You can say, I like watching movies, or I enjoy playing football, or I love listening to music. And step number 5, your goals. For example, my goal is to improve my English, or I want to speak English confidently, or I hope to get a better job in the future. So you can remember this simple formula: name to place to work or study to interest to goals. Let's say it again. Name, place, work or study, interests, goals. This simple formula can help you when you don't know what to say. But remember, you do not always have to use all 5 steps. Your answer depends on the situation. For example, if you meet someone casually at a party, you can give a short and friendly answer. You might say, hi, I'm Sarah. I'm from Afghanistan, but I live in Dubai now. I am a student and I really enjoy reading and watching movies. That is a good answer, but imagine you are in a job interview. The interviewer says, good morning, please tell me about yourself. In this situation, your answer should be more professional. You can talk about your education, work experience, skills, and career goals. For example, my name is Ali. I'm from Afghanistan. I studied business at university and I have 2 years of experience working in sales. I'm hardworking and friendly and I enjoy working with people. My goal is to develop my skills and build a successful career. Notice something important. The answer is different because the situation is different. This is a very useful English skill. You should not memorize one answer and use it everywhere. Instead, learn how to change your answer depending on the person and the situation. Now, there is another important thing to remember. When someone says, tell me about yourself, you should not give too much information. For example, you do not need to say, my name is Ali. I was born on this date. When I was 5 years old, I went to this school. Then I moved to another city. Then I met this person. That is too much information for a simple introduction. Keep your answer focused. Give the other person a few interesting details about yourself. Then let the conversation continue naturally. You should also avoid giving an answer that is too short. For example, my name is Ali. I'm from Afghanistan. That is grammatically fine, but it may not give the other person enough information. You can add 1 or 2 more sentences. My name is Ali. I'm from Afghanistan and I'm currently studying business. In my free time, I enjoy playing football and listening to music. Now, your answer sounds more complete. So remember, don't say too little, don't say too much. Give a clear and simple answer, and most importantly, don't try to use complicated English just to sound impressive. Simple English is perfectly fine. You can say, I'm a student. You don't need to say, I'm currently pursuing an academic qualification in the field of busy. Now that we know how to start with our name, Let's move to the second important part of introducing yourself. We are going to talk about where you are from. This is a very common topic when you meet someone for the first time. After you say your name, the other person may ask, "Where are you from?" This is a very simple question. It means, what country or place do you come from? For example, if you are from Afghanistan, you can say, "I'm from Afghanistan." If you are from Pakistan, you can say, "I'm from Pakistan." If you are from India, you can say, "I'm from India." If you are from Canada, you can say, "I'm from Canada." The sentence is very easy. I'm from plus country. Let's practice. I'm from Afghanistan. Again, I'm from Afghanistan. Very good. Now, you can also say, "I come from Afghanistan." This sentence is also correct, but for everyday conversation, "I'm from Afghanistan" is shorter and more natural. So, if someone asks, "Where are you from?" you can simply answer, "I'm from Afghanistan." You don't need a long answer, but sometimes you may want to give a little more information. For example, "I'm from Afghanistan, but I live in Dubai now." This sentence tells us two things. First, where you are originally from. Second, where you live now. This is useful because sometimes people are from one place but live in another place. Let's look at the difference between "I'm from" and "I live in." When you say, "I'm from Kabul," you are talking about where you come from or where you consider your home to be. When you say, "I live in Kabul," you're talking about the place where you live now. For example, "I'm from Herat, but I live in Kabul." This means Herat is where you are from, but Kabul is where you live now. Let's practice another example. "I'm from Pakistan, but I live in London." Or, "I'm from India, but I live in Canada." Or, "I'm from Afghanistan, but I live in Dubai." These are very useful sentences. Now, let's talk about your city. After telling someone your country, you can tell them the city you are from. For example, "I'm from Afghanistan." "I'm from Kabul." But we can make this sound more natural. "I'm from Kabul, Afghanistan." That is a very common way to say it. You can also say, "I live in Kabul, Afghanistan," or